Hello everybody, this is Elena Garrett with Keller Williams Central, and today I'm going to show you how to create a template for Texas Association of Realtors TAR residential lease application. If you're working with me to find a house for a lease, very likely I asked you to create a template and then use that template to create various applications. So now I'm going to show you how to create that template. First step is I need to send you the blank Texas Association of Realtors residential lease application. You're going to receive it from me via email. Once you have that document in your hands, then you need to go to pdf2go.com, and I'm going to post this link right here into the description of this video, and I'm going to provide you the link in the email that you will receive. Once you go to this email, once you go to this link, pdf2go.com, you're going to see something like that. It might be a different color for you at that time, but this is how it looks like right now. So you need to take the template, you need to take the file, the blank file that I gave you, and you need to either choose file from, click choose file, and then select it from your document manager, or you can drag and drop that file onto this field where it says choose file. And once you drag and drop it, it will say waiting, and this is how you know that it worked. Once it uploads the document into the formatting state, right here, you're going to see several different action items like text, pencil, whiteout, options, and pages. So you can also undo and redo every single move that you've done, and you can do this little motion with your finger or with your pointer to move the page up and down so you can see different parts of the page. So this is pdf2go.com. Very handy application. It is completely free for you to use. You don't need to log in. You don't need to sign up. Alrighty, let's jump right to it. So we're going to apply for a house. So for us to apply for a house, we need to submit an application. Very likely you're going to need more than one application before to apply for more than one house before you actually are accepted into a lease agreement. For you not to fill out, so this is a 4-page document, for you not to fill out this 4-page document by hand with a pen and a paper every single time, I'm going to show you how to create a PDF template of your application, which is what we're doing right now. So step 1, we're going to create a template of your application. We're going to skip this part which says property address. We're on page 1 right now. Property address and all of that information we're going to skip. We're going to go to where it says applicant's first name, and we're going to use our text editor right here to start editing the fields. So every single field on this application, except for signature, will be edited using this text button. If you have a yes or no selection, you can also use this text button to create an X or to fill an X in one of those fields. So let me show you how. We're still on text. We're going to point at the top left corner or slightly above top left corner of this box. We're going to click in there, and then we're going to put X, and voila, this field is now filled out. Alternatively, if that is very difficult for you and requires too much coordination, you can use a pencil, and you can use a pencil to mark up the field. Just be careful, don't make big strikes like that. If you screwed up, you can always click undo and undo your latest actions. So we're going to use the text to fill out all the fields that I'm going to check for you. So watch to see which fields are absolutely necessary to fill out. If I said checkbox, it means it needs to be filled out. If I put a question mark, it means it may or may not apply to you. So for you, what is necessary? Checkbox, 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 checkbox. If you don't have a social security number, you can put an ITIN, or you can put whatever number that you have on your documents or your passport or whatever. Just in parentheses, put ITIN or passport. So I think this is it here. Please fill out all of these too, but if you're in a hurry and if you want to basically skip a few steps, then fill out only those that I'm showing you right now. If you have multiple adults and children that are going to occupy the property, in this field, people who will occupy the property, put adults first, and then if there is any space left, put children, as many as you can. There are only 4 of the lines that you have, so just list 4 top ones, and then don't worry too much about listing the children, as long as the adults are listed. So for your address, if you're currently staying with your parents, just put the parents' address. If you are serving in the military, put your unit address. If you are staying in an RV park, put the RV park information. The management name, if you're with your parents or your relatives, put the person whom they can contact to confirm that this person that you indeed live there, and then parentheses put mother, sister, etc. So we are to the end of the first page. This is our property 1. This is our past address 2. So we're going to now have to skip to second page. And the way that we do it, we click on pages right here. And then we click on page number 2 right here, and then it skips to the next page. If for some reason you no longer have contact information, so for your previous employer or for your previous landlord, just say unknown or current. So if you, for example, don't have an email for that apartment anymore, apartment complex where you used to live, go on their website, pull up on their website, pull up their contact information and their phone number, and just put their whatever is the generic information that they give on their website. As far as your current employer, if you are self-employed, put your company name. Don't put self, put company name. If you're self-employed, supervisor, put self right here. Phone, put your phone, your email. Position, put owner. For your prior, if you had any employers who are no longer in business and you no longer have a way of providing contact information for them, then just put company name, parentheses, no longer in business. Other income that you want to be considered. Sometimes people have other income beside their job. So for example, you could have potentially child support payments, social security disability payments, or some other income that is not coming from your direct employment. In that case, just add that information here using a text bar. Vehicles, however many vehicles are going to be on a property, go ahead and list them all. If you have a co-applicant with you who is going to be also living with you and they have their own vehicle, let them put their vehicle there. You just put your vehicle right here. Monthly payments, if the car is paid off, put 0. Whether or not you have a pet, you need to fill out one of these boxes. So please don't forget to indicate yes or no. And if you said yes, then you have to fill out this part of the application. And make sure that when you're filling out if you have a dog or a cat, besides filling out all of these parts right here, you also need to fill out this information. Don't leave it blank. If you have a pet that does not have shots, let's just say you have a lizard or something like that, then just put NA something right here, like NA, not applicable. Now we're coming to a very important part of the application. This is probably the most important part of the application right here in terms of you being accepted or declined for your, you being accepted or declined for that application. So this set of questions, rectangle, right here, and then there are two more questions on the last page that are also in that group right here. My goodness. So these questions are important because they can potentially exclude you from the ability to proceed with your application. There are two types. This top one is just waterbeds. Are you smoke? Are you planning to get rental insurance? So fill it out. Make sure that none of these, this is the most important part. Make sure that none of them are blank. They have to be all filled out one way or another. And on this part, this is where you indicate if there's some strikes against you. Evictions, breaches of lease, bankruptcies, foreclosures, credit issues, crime convictions, felonies, sex offender status, etc. So ideally, you're going to have no yeses in this section right here. However, if you have to put the yes somewhere, let's just say that we're putting a yes in conviction of a crime or something like that, or credit issues. By the way, noted that I have my pencil switched to red. If that happens to you when you're filling out and it somehow switches to a different color, you just go to options and you choose, under options, you choose font color, and you can go to black if you wish. You can choose any color you want to fill out your application right here. So we're going to put, let's just say, yes, we had a issue with our credit problems, and now we will have to explain it. So anytime you have a yes on any of these questions, you will have to provide a short explanation in the next page and use one line per, maybe a question that they have right here. So if you have a question, if you have a declaratory information, let's just say that I have 2016 bankruptcy due to medical bills. And then what I would do is, okay, so we explained the problem that we are indicating on the questionnaire, and rather than leave the landlord with this negative piece of information as the last thing that he reads about you, we want to supplement it with something positive. So for example, exited out of bankruptcy in 2018, built up my savings since then, and then so just kind of indicate that you can document that this impediment has been overcome, and document a large amount in savings to avoid this situation in the future, or something like that. So basically what you're trying to do with this explanation is you're trying to show to your landlord that you have took responsibility for the problem that you had, and now you're able to avoid this problem in the future. So give them some positive piece of information that they can focus on after they read the negative information. That is just about it for our template on the residential lease application itself. We're going to skip the part where it says fees. We're going to fill it out only after our template is completed. So for the template, we don't need that. Now, what we need to do right now is we need to actually create the signature. Signature is one of those things that are tricky to create, but without your signature, your application is not valid. So how would you create a signature? Let me show you. You can use a pencil. And if you go to a pencil and click on options, select stroke size 1. And then use your finger, your stylus, or your cursor, and then you start writing out your name very carefully. It's not going to be just like when you're signing it at the grocery store. It's never going to be perfect, right? When you learn that when you're signing at the grocery store, it's just a little bit jagged. But that's good enough for now because that still creates your signature right here. So with the signature, we're going to go back to pages because we've finished this part of the application. And page number 4 is the release of your information to the landlord. So we're just going to do a quick little annotation right here. We're going to put our name on the top line. And then we're done with this. So don't put anything here, just leave it completely blank. And then it asks us for one more signature right here. So go ahead and go to pencil again, go to options. And very often it starts to write in this thick pencil. I do not know why it doesn't maintain stroke size 1. So go to stroke size 2, test it. Okay, it's now writing better. Go to stroke size 1 and then sign your name again. How are you going to sign it? So this is your second signature. I mean, do a better job than I did by, of course, if you could. This is the end of the template. We are done. You can go to pages and you can see that your pages are now filled out. So we're going to click on Save As. So we're saving a template. It's not an application yet. It's a template for an application. So it takes a second. Okay. Once it's finished, it says success. We have converted your file. And then it will immediately offer you to save the file as a PDF document somewhere on your system. I personally like to not to use their default name. So instead of output, because output is very generic, hard to understand what's in it, I'm going to name it Elena Tar Lease Application Template. And I'm going to put the word template in capital so it jumps out at me because I might have a lot of files and I may not remember which one of them is a template and which one of them is not. So we're done with our template. From this point on, this is super easy. Let's just say that we need to apply to a property at Main Street in Dallas, Texas. So what we're going to do is we're now going to use our template to create a application in about 5 minutes now. Watch me. So let's do this. We're going to go back once and twice. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this yellow field. And now that we're on this yellow field, we're going to drag and drop or click choose file. But instead of a blank file like we did the first time, we're going to put the template in here, the one that we already have pre-filled out. Cool. So 5 minutes. Let's see how long it takes us to fill out this application. So when we open our template, we already have most of our information filled out for us. This way, the only thing that we need to do is right here, and I'm going to show you what you need to fill out. So you're going to fill out your property address, move-in date that you want to move in, rent. If you don't know this information right here, text me or email me and I'll send you this information. So you need to fill out this information using your text button, of course. Then we're going to page number 2. On page number 2, please, at the top of the page, you see where it says residential is concerning this, please put the address of the property that you're applying for. So nothing else on this page. We go to page number 3 now. Again, at the top of the page, we need to put an address right here. Now, right here, we do have a important information. So remember, we left it blank. Now we need to fill it out. So let's go ahead and put a fee. So your application fee is usually $30, $40, or $50. If you don't know what it is, then text me or email me and I'll contact you. Leave this blank. Do not put anything in here. Nothing in here, right here. Leave it blank. Then make sure that you circle or that you put an X. I mean, I put a circle, but let's do it properly. Let's make sure that you put an X in here and select submit. If you select not submit, it's going to be a problem. So make sure that you submit, click this first one. Then you need to put information about the deposit. And if you don't know what your deposit should be, contact me. This is it for this page. Oh no, I'm sorry. So we also need to put a date. So use your text to put in a date in here. Do not put anything in here. So date, etc. Now we're going to go to the last page. And now we're going to put the address of the property right here. We're going to still leave this blank. Don't put anything in here. And then we're going to put the date up here. So date this, and also one more thing, we're going to put a address of our property to which we're applying right here. So with this information, you will have your application signed and dated and ready to go. So how do we save it? We click on Save As. Success, we have converted your file. That's great. They're going to, I didn't do anything. It just pops up the Save As window. So let's go ahead and you see it's trying to save this output again. Let's go ahead and rename it. Instead of output, we're going to say this is Elena's TAR lease application for 123 Main Street, Dallas. So this file name is very convenient because if I received it from you or if the agent for the landlord received it from you, from the name of the file, they will know exactly what this is all about. They'll say that Elena submitted a lease application for this address. So this information contains all the pieces, this name contains all the pieces of information that I will need from you when you send me a whole bunch of files for processing. We'll click Save, and now we're ready to go. So when you're sending me the files for upload to the landlord, let's go ahead and have your ID, your documentation of your income, and then the file that says TAR lease application 123 Main Street or whatever it is. So send me that file, and that you'll be ready to go, ready to rock and roll. This is all for now. I hope that was helpful. I'm sorry I had to rush through it so much because I'm short on time. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, please leave them below and I'll make sure to answer them as they arrive. Thank you so much for your attention, guys. You've been awesome. Let's rock. Let's get you into a house. Have a good day.